Today I'll show you how to make frybread. It's pretty simple. First, make sure you got your ingredients. Sugar, flour, maybe a little bit of oil, and some yeast. Alright, well, we got a bowl here, spoon here, water time. Alright, what I'm looking for here is temperature, water temperature. The water temperature should be lukewarm, meaning kind of comfortable, not hot. You're gonna damage your yeast if you do that too hot. And if you do it too cold, it's gonna take forever for it to activate. So, lukewarm is kind of like the temperature you would make a baby bottle, that temperature. So I'll put a little bit of water in there, just so much, I don't know how much, I just took about two cups of water.
No.
Yep, and we got that. We're gonna put our yeast in there. I got a scissors. One, two things of yeast I put in there. So I'd say for about 2.5 cups of lukewarm water. I probably put too much yeast in there, but that's okay. And, okay. Now we're gonna add sugar. I'm gonna put a little bit in there, I don't know, let's see here. Right there is good. That was about 1/3 of a cup of sugar.
I thought that was more of a 1/4.
But I'm mixing it around, kind of blending. This kind of helps it a little bit too, adding just a little bit of oil. That's a lot of oil. That's okay, we're dipping this whole thing in grease anyways. So just mix it around. It's kind of like a milky colored watery substance here. Kind of got that yeast up in there, the sugar. You know, some people throw a little bit of salt in there too, you know, they say that kind of helps it, but I don't know. So, hold on here. I'm just gonna whisk it. The tool I'm using is a whisk. It gets the lumps out. Now I'm gonna add the flour. So this looks like about 2.5 cups of water. So I'm gonna say, just by judging here, I added about, okay, that's about a cup right there. About 2 cups, 3 cups. I'm gonna mix. I'm just gonna mix. Mix until it looks kind of like it's mixing. Like an egg.
You need more flour.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep adding flour gradually. I don't want to add too much too soon, because then you'll be adding all kinds of other stuff to it, just so you can make it look like it's how it's supposed to look. That's not what you want to be doing. So you gradually add flour. Sometimes I notice when I'm cooking, and I look at a recipe for something that says exactly 4 cups or something like that, I always just add 3 cups, and then I gradually add the 4th cup. Sometimes the 4th cup isn't really needed, because you don't want to add too much flour to something right away. keep on adding the flour. Gradual. Some people, they don't use a bowl for this. Me, I don't want to make a big mess, so I'm going to use a bowl. So I just keep on mixing with my wooden spoon. And it'll get to a point when it starts looking like something you can use and actually make. So how's your day? How's your quarantine going? Going pretty good, I guess, huh? Mine's going good too. So anyways, I'm just turning this dough till it just looks like something good, you know. I'm just lightly sprinkling the outside of it. So I can kind of show you what it looks like, the texture of it, you know. The texture of it should be something you can handle without getting your hands all dirty. You know, and if it's too sticky, if you got sticky dough, then you gotta add more. You don't want sticky dough. You don't want sticky dough. Sometimes too, okay, like, this is why I say, like, using a bowl is good, but sometimes a surface too, just a flat surface is good. So you can actually make a flat surface like this and put your dough in it like that. And you can just kind of work your dough until it looks good. And you want to be in a good mood when you're doing this. You don't want to be mad, you know. Anyways. When you look at this dough now, it's looking like bread dough now. Looks good. Looks manageable. It's not sticky. Nice and soft. Warm. You can work it. Put it back in the bowl. And you cover it with something. A lot of people use a towel. Some people use tin foil. I happen to have a cover. I'll just cover it for a little bit. Keep the air from getting to it. Only reason why I do that is so it don't dry. It doesn't create that hard surface on top. You know, so you want to be able to use all of it. Okay. So that, as you can see, the dough has risen. It has risen and it is fluffy. And this is about 30 minutes later. We're gonna add a little bit more flour to it. We're gonna knock the air out of it by kneading it. A process called kneading the dough. It's very important to knead the dough. So yeah, you just take a little bit of flour. Yeah, and you keep folding it over and twisting it and just working the dough, so that way there's no air inside of it. Because if there's air pockets inside of it, what's gonna happen when you cook it is you're gonna get a bunch of big air bubbles inside your fry bread. Let's go ahead and just flatten it out now. Or, you know, people can flatten it out and cut pieces out, or they could just tear off a piece and flatten it out by hand. There's different ways of doing it. Yep. And on this, just flatten it out inside the dough though. So yeah, just take a piece off and you can flatten it out. Get it really flat, yeah, however flat you want it. The grease should be about a good 371. If it is any higher than that, you will burn your dough. You'll burn your bread. And when that happens, you're gonna get a raw inside. It's gonna look done on the outside and raw on the inside. It's really big.
Well,
You'll know it's the right temperature because it automatically floats right to the top without burning. Yeah, it's not good.